Carolina Garcia is currently the editor-in-chief of the Los Angeles Daily News and is the first Latina to be in a top editorial position of a major market daily English-language newspaper in the U.S. Garcia was managing editor of the San Antonio Express News. From there, she was the executive editor of the Monterey County Herald before making her way to the LA Daily News.
I was living in Milwaukee, and I was very involved in community organizations. I was working for the Latin American Union for Civil Rights, and we were very involved in bilingual education issues involving immigration, migrant rights, police brutality, housing, very much community activists. And my job was to really try to get our message out. And I mean, I was a kid, but I tried to get our message out. And I used to read everything that was in the paper about our marches and our protests and our meetings and our efforts. And it felt like what was in the paper or on the news really wasn't getting our message across. When I first got in the business, what year was it? 1982. 1982. I think it was after the Watts riots here in LA. It was after there was a tremendous, the Chicano movement, all that period. And I think a lot of white journalists tried desperately to cover communities of color and tell their stories in accurate ways that really reflect the community. And few journalists of color started to get hired, primarily African American. They opened the doors for people like me, and I came in with no experience other than passion and energy, and really learned the business by, it was hard, it was really hard, but really worked hard at what I felt was telling the stories about Latinos. I thought that was really important to tell those stories and to open people's eyes to other cultures, other communities, other stories, other than just the one story that they knew. But also for our communities of color, to understand how the system works, so that you are engaged in the school system and the electoral process, that you are voting, that your kids are getting immunized, that kids are in school, that you're taking advantage of every good opportunity for your children and for yourself. So I thought that was really important. Number one, you really need to know how to report, ask the questions, curiosity, and you really need to know how to write. Regardless of whether you're doing a blog, a multimedia package with tweets or video, or you still have to have command of the language. You still have to get to that nut graph. You still have to talk about, so what? Why is this story important? And sometimes when I laugh when I see those little commercials about blogging where it's like, a man, walked his dog or something. What, who cares? So a lot of what I'm seeing today is, who cares about all this stuff? So you have to make somebody be interested in what you're writing or talking or telling or shooting. So why is this important? And so I think don't lose focus on that. And the other thing is, be well read. Read your magazines, read your newspapers, know what's going on in the world, and be engaged in your community and in the world.